everybody, my name is Jared Hope. This is Keith Faria, and we are with Tilt Property Group. Keith, today we're here. First of all, everyone, Keith is an agent. Keith is my agent. I've been using Keith for 7, 8 years.
I think
something like that. And you've transacted, 60, 70 properties of mine in the last, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
So Keith's an agent, works for Century 21. He's part of our Tilt Property Group team. The thing I like, the reason why we're talking is because I want to educate or support or teach people how to pick a team. And we hear all the time, if you want to buy real estate, you got to pick a team. You got to build a team. You got to build a team. So what a lot of people are doing, a lot of investors are doing, they're just randomly picking up a phone and calling someone on a sign, and they're not necessarily getting, the right person, right agent on their team to start building it.
Yeah.
So the reason why I like you is for many reasons. One, you've transacted so much, you understand what I want, but you also have a lot of experience. You came from, you worked for a guy who is, has done a lot more than I have, a guy by the name of Terry Peranich. And I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop Terry Peranich and TP.
Sure, he's okay with it.
Yeah, and if we did, if we don't, sorry Terry, and if we do, great, thanks Terry. But you came from a guy named Terry Peranich, and you deal with a guy named Jared Hope, and we're very active in the market.
Yeah.
So picking an agent. What are some things that we should be supporting or educating our audience on, whether it's one person or whether you're 100 people watching or whether you are buying one property or you're about to buy your 10th or 15th or 100th property? What do people look for when they pick an agent?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'll let you know that not only do buyers and consumers and sellers look for the right agent for investments, but as you've noticed, a lot of other agents do the same thing. And what they look for, like what I believe buyers look for, and I think the reason why you and I connected so well is that number one, I mean, obviously we're in the investment category. I do own investments also,
right?
And on top of it, you and I think, after we started to get a couple in, I started to learn about what it is that you're looking for, really listening and finding out what makes you tick, what do you like, what don't you like.
So you said a couple things, sorry to interrupt you, but because I do that lots.
Yeah.
But you said a couple things, and one of the things you said is you own real estate. Mm-hmm. And it's funny you say that because when I started buying real estate in 2003, the first year I bought 3, and the second year I bought 8, and the third year I bought 64. So the third year was a massive year.
Yeah.
And this was with a guy up in Grand Prairie at the time.
Yeah.
And the first 3 that I bought was with an agent that was a friend of mine. It was a friend of ours from the gym. We used him, and to be honest, those 3 properties I shouldn't have bought. And so you said,
you still see that today.
Absolutely. How many times do we see that? How many times do we see clients come in, they buy a property in the wrong area at the wrong time, wrong tenant profile, not understanding, and it's just a bunch of shit that they're stuck with. And then they come to us, it's expecting all of this stuff, and they don't get it.
Yeah.
So the number one thing that you liked, I know I kind of stepped in on you, but it was you're walking the talk that you're.
Yeah.
Like you're living it.
Well, and the things that I find very important for what I'm doing, I want to be able to do the same thing for you.
Absolutely.
Whether it's we talk about cash flow and things like that all the time. There's not a single property that I've helped anybody, including you, purchase that I wouldn't have purchased myself.
Right. Because it's super important. Because when I invest in Edmonton, you live in Edmonton, and let me ask you this question: how long have you lived in Edmonton?
My whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
And so you know what parts of town are good and what parts are bad.
Yeah. Where to go and where not to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we see often investors from BC, because we have lots of investors from BC and lots from Ontario that come in, and they might use, or Calgary, right? Yeah. And they will use another agent, or they'll use an agent who's not, they don't really understand the market, or they may not have lived here for the whole time or their whole life. And all they're doing is moving a product.
Yeah.
And we both know that can end them bad.
Yeah, it really can. And I mean, the way I look at it is, I mean, even just from the Vancouver Acre that we did just a couple of weeks ago, I mean, I'm literally working with some investors right now that have never been here.
Right.
They've never even, one guy said, I've never even set my 2 feet in Alberta. Mm-hmm. I'm from over here, I now live over here.
But I want to invest here.
But I want to invest in
I want to buy on the LRT line.
Yeah.
I want to go on the train.
Buy me a train and get me a house within 8 meters of that, 800 meters of that, I'm good.
Yeah.
And so, so when someone says they want to invest in my city where I'm from and they've never been here, I mean, I don't have to tell you, I take that very seriously.
Right.
And so, but at the same time, for them, it just becomes math.
Right.
You know, they're not emotionally attached to anything. They're not looking for specific. I mean, we get investors say, oh, I want this color or this.
Yeah.
This guy just wants math.
Because ultimately what we push, there's many different strategies to buying real estate. You can put more money down. You can buy just purely based on for appreciation, which is a little bit skeptical. But what we push is cash flow.
Big time.
You know, like we're very big on buying the right property in the right area that cash flows the right amount of money.
Yeah.
And because that ultimately will give you your long-term success in this game called real estate investing.
Yeah,
right.
Being able to cash flow positive allows you to get through month by month, handle vacancies, handle market upturns and downturns, and it just opens up a lot of options instead of just focusing solely on appreciation or any of the other factors.
So let's ask you this: if you could give maybe 2-3 top tips to an investor coming into Edmonton. Whether it's you're looking to buy your first, like I said, or you're looking to buy your 100th and you're looking to build a team in Edmonton, what were the 2 or 3 things that you'd tell your investor to do?
Well, I think the first thing I would do, and again, I know you brought up Terry earlier. I mean, when I was working with Terry, one of the things he always told me, and it's a golden rule is just buy one. One really good, responsible, productive, good performing property at a time. And you get that one, you get it running, you get it going. And then think about the next one. Don't jump in.
Because how many times do we see new investors jump in and buy 2 or 3 properties at a time, and they get possession of them all within 30 days of each other? It's like bang, 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 and all of a sudden vacancy rates are up because they can't fill them because they just got possession of them. Costs are going through the roof because they have to manage it. Stress is going through the roof because now they have to manage the first 2. We see it all the time.
Well, and we've also seen some investors buy an apartment building that they're in over their head on, and they're not ready for it, and they're some of it is if they're not getting the right guidance, or sometimes they just come in and they're so excited to get something that they'll literally take anything, and you need to have an agent that can cool that a little bit.
Just slow you down.
Slow it down a little bit, but still be smart. Still go get it. Like go out and invest, but have a plan.
Totally, because in all the years of buying real estate, and you know this better than anyone when you deal with me, is real estate's a bus. A house is a bus. If you don't want it, or you miss it, or it's running late, or something, or it's too full, just leave it, and another one's coming. And so 1, slow down. 2, don't buy anything, because jumping into anything can be the most costly mistake that you can ever make in this business. What would be a third piece of advice?
Well, I think for me is, I try and take the charge out of everything, especially when it comes to investing, because it is highly emotional. And again, I know we're seeing that every day, but the best way I take the charge out of it is to just focus on math. And I mean, I was just talking to a client today, and I just said, listen, this one does not cash flow at the strength that you want it to. So let's move on. Right.
So you said cash flow. So you know I'm big on cash flow.
Huge.
So what are the 3 buying principles that we look for when we deal with my property? Let's or another client that's coming in that's looking for a property. We're preaching 3 things. What are those 3 things?
We're 100%. We're preaching cash flow.
Absolutely. We're all day long cash flow.
Right. The rest of it doesn't matter because
all day long.
Of course, as you know, the next one is market appreciation.
Correct.
And then, of course, mortgage buy down. And the funny thing is that cash flow becomes so important, because if I bought a property today and I had it for 20 years and let's say it didn't appreciate, if I still had all that cash flow, I'd be feeling pretty good about
Absolutely.
That.
Because at the end of the day, we buy for cash flow, mortgage buy down, and appreciation. Appreciation we don't have any control over.
Can't control it.
So if you buy always for the first 2, and if you buy the right property in the right area, so either a renovated property, or there's a lot of great new product on the market right now. Suited houses. Terry Pranich, back to Terry. Terry taught me a long time ago, you buy 2 for the price of 1. 2 suites, main floor and a basement for the price of 1. So now if one's vacant, one's occupied, you're break even every single month, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about minimizing risk. And then if you minimize risk, it's actually going to you're actually going to enjoy the process of the game a lot better, right?
And I often say to in my investor clients is, I want you to be able to sleep at night.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you buy one property with 2 units and one of them is vacant, you can still sleep at night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't want to be feeding it. So it's so important to buy the right property.
You got that right.
So that's it, everybody. My name's Jared Hope. This is Keith Faria with Tilt Property Group. Make sure you follow it, like us, share it, repost, do whatever you need to do. If you're thinking about getting invested in real estate and you're looking for a great team, we offer the realtor, the property management, the collections. We're kind of your one-stop shop. And the way we do it, we base it purely off of our experiences as investors first and foremost.
You got it.
So with that said, happy investing, everybody.